Welcome to Roughing It with Ruth, the channel where everything is a bit rough around the edges. So on this trip I'm hiking the Magoebaskloof Trail with the Johannesburg Hiking Club, and it is administered by Komati Land, which is like a plantation organization. So you hike sort of through the plantations and also through some of the indigenous forest in the Magoebaskloof area. And I've done a trail run here before but never the hike, so very excited to see what it's like. Last night we slept at Seepsteen Stables Hut, and today we are making our way to Waterfall Hut. I believe it's about 13 kilometers, but I'll put on the screen what the distance ended up being at the end of the day. At Seepsteen Stables there's only one toilet and there are 2 showers, but in order to get to them you actually have to go out of the hut and walk around the outside of the hut. There's no door leading straight through, which when it's raining is a bit of a pain because you have to kind of go out into the wet and go around and then shower and go to the toilet and then back out into the wet to get back into the dormitories. Is it just coming down from the trees or is it actually raining? Who can tell? We've arrived at our next overnight hut, which is the Waterfall Hut, and it's actually right on the waterfall near here, which is really, really pretty. And the Waterfall Hut is actually in between the waterfall and a massive dam out in the front. So it's very, very scenic, and as you can kind of tell, the weather's cleared up a lot, and I think the weather report was saying that it's not meant to rain tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow we'll have slightly better weather. We actually made pretty good time despite the mud today. We got here at about 2:30. And the Waterfall Hut is a bit of a different setup from Seepsteen Stables Hut. It's got 2 rooms with 8 bunk beds in each, and each room then has its own toilet and shower, which is quite nice because our group just happens to be split up into guys and girls. So the girls are all in one room and the guys are all in the other, and that makes showering and stuff a whole lot easier when you've each got access to a shower and a toilet. We've had a little bit of a change of plans today. We spoke to, Adrian, the hike leader, spoke to the plantation manager, who said that the trail was going to be quite tough today, and it is 18 kilometers and there's kind of no access to come and help us if there's a problem. So a couple of people in the group are getting a lift in the truck onto the next hut, Dokolewa, and there are 6 of us that are doing the trail, and then unfortunately 2 hikers have got injuries or illnesses and are pulling out and going back to Woodbush Hut. So it has been a pretty tough trail so far. It's definitely taking its toll. We started going off the road at the sign that pointed towards Dokolewa pools, but there was like a cut down tree with branches that look like they might have intentionally been laid across the trail to stop people coming this way. And the trail does look extremely unmaintained and overgrown. So we've just gone a little way down this, and now we're going back to the road, and we're rather just going to cut out this section and walk this section on the road instead, because I think that it was actually intentional that they didn't want people to come on this trail, and it hasn't been maintained in a long time. So it's 10:30 and we've just stopped for a short tea break. We've done 8.5 kilometers, but that's with the little detour where we stopped and turned around, which I think is about 1.5 kilometers. So I think we've done about 7 Ks, and today's supposed to be 18. So we're making quite good time, and it's not raining. It's actually sunny. It's just super misty inside of the forest still, and the forest is still really, really wet from the previous rain, but it's very pretty, and inside the forest it's not too terribly hot, which is very nice. It's still a little bit slippery underfoot. Well, so far coming down along the river has been absolutely lovely. There haven't been too many really, really bad patches of mud, although some of it is very slippery. The bridges, however, are in quite a bad state of repair. I don't know if that's from recent rains or they just haven't been maintained recently, but quite a few of them are very dilapidated and slippery and a little bit dangerous, to be honest. And there were some of them where I just rather walked in the river instead of going on the bridge. But we saw a really, really lovely waterfall maybe about halfway down, and we had a swim in the pool below it. And then we got to the bigger waterfall pretty much at the bottom of the descent and had some lunch, and yeah, we're pretty close to the hut. I think we've maybe got like another 2 or 3 Ks to go until the hut, maybe even less. It's been a very lovely day so far, and the indigenous forest is just spectacular. It really is surreal walking through this rainforest and then kind of emerging out of it, and you're back in the pine plantations like you can see behind me. But yeah, it's really, really wonderful experience. I highly recommend the Magoebaskloof Trail. So we've gotten to our overnight hut, and it is Dokolewa hut, and I must say, out of all of the huts that we've stayed on so far, this is the best. It is right by a waterfall, right on a river, with a pool like basically on your doorstep that you can go and swim in. The entrance to the hut is across this like kind of rickety wooden bridge, but it's very atmospheric, and the hut itself is also quite nice. It's a little bit musty smelling, but I think it's maybe just not been used for a while. It was very clean. Again, all of the huts on this trip have been very clean. There just are some obvious maintenance issues, like the toilets not really filling up very fast, and like door handles being broken or window latches being broken. Sort of really basic stuff. The maintenance is maybe not quite there, but the cleanliness is perfectly acceptable, and the location is like out of this world. So yeah, very, very nice place to come and stay. Today was the final day of our hike. We got up quite early when it was still dark, so that by the time it was light enough to see, we could leave. And that was just in order to give us enough time to hike the more or less 8 to 9 kilometers from Dokolewa Pool's hut all the way back to Woodbush hut. And the distance is not very far, but it is very, very pretty because it crosses the river in the gorge there in the indigenous forest quite a few times. And it is also a little bit steep towards the end. I think at about 5 to 5.5 Ks, you hit a very big uphill, which continues for quite a long time. until you're at the same elevation as Woodbush Hut. And then we had a nice little shower at Woodbush Hut before going back home all the way to Gauteng. This was an absolutely wonderful hike, and I would just like to say thank you to the Johannesburg Hiking Club, which was the hiking club that I joined for this hike, and the leader, Adrian. You did an amazing job. It was really fun meeting all of the people there and experiencing the Magoebaskloof Trail with them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more from me, then you can click on my channel name to see videos that I've made in the past, or you can subscribe to my channel to see videos that I'm going to make in the future.